Alright everybody, thanks for dropping by. Today we got another hammock. It doesn't have any name on it anywhere except for right on the label here and then where I purchased it at on Amazon, and it's Silk Road Hammock. Comes in this plastic bag with its own little zip type thing on it. It does come with instructions, which most hammocks don't have, which is kind of interesting for the people who are just beginning to learn what's going on in hammocking. This is fine for them. Not really sure that this represents what's in here, though. It talks about a rope here and all, and this does not come with a rope in it. It does show you that the hammock can be used as a regular hammock, or flip it over and use it as a hammock that doesn't have a net on it. It does have down here, it says, using hammocks can be risky. Use with utmost caution. I guess that's their disclaimer, gets them out of it. You can see there's no name on it. It's not real heavy. I think they said it was 1.8 pounds or something like that for it. Comes in an ample stuff sack. The stuff sack is pretty big. I've had this thing out, put it back in. It's very easy going in and out. You know, some of the things it comes with. It's got pull-outs on it, so it comes with a couple ropes for the pull-outs. Comes with a couple straps. Only problem with these straps is they're just a long strap with one of these on each end. You know, you can use it if you like tying knots and all. I don't think I'll be using it. I think I'm going to go and use my daisy chains, made of the same kind of material. Another little bonus it came with, which was kind of cool, but you know, is it really useful or not? I don't really know. This thing hangs over your Ridgeline, which it has inside there. It has a Ridgeline, bungee type Ridgeline in it. And then you open this up, you put your device in it you want to hang on it, like a lamp or something, and it hangs on it. You can slide it back and forth. It was free. It was thrown in, so you know, you can't complain about it. Uses two of these stainless steel type Carabiners. This is not the ones that have that hang up on everything. These are pretty nice. They don't hang up on this, on the straps and stuff like some of the earlier types did. I did notice one of these doesn't close. This one here doesn't close really good. Looks like it's off a little bit. These will probably be changed if I want to start using this thing. Doesn't have a rope here. It's got straps. We're seeing a lot more of that lately. So I can find a zipper on this thing. There it is. Here's the zipper. It's a plastic type zipper. Close teeth. Runs the full length almost, with about a 3 or 4 inch distance on each end that doesn't cover, but goes almost the whole length. And here's the zippers themselves. Does move nicely. Has some pullouts on it. Here's the pullouts. It's got one on each side. Alright, let's think about getting it outside there. The material is your normal, before I go, the interior is just your normal parachute type material. The site said it was ripstock. This doesn't look like ripstock. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't have any of the grids in it like a ripstock would have in it. It's a green color, kind of an iridescent type green. Anyhow, let's get this thing out on the patio, get it up, let's see what it looks like. Okay, here it is all set up in the backyard here. As you can see, it's got some pullouts on it, as I mentioned earlier. The netting. And you see it's fairly wide inside. It's 55 inches. You know, I'd like it to be maybe another 6 or 6 inches or so. Lengthwise about the same. It's 9.5 feet. I'd like to see it maybe at least 10 feet. But you know, the way it is now, it's still very comfortable in there. And this is with this Ridgeline that they have, which is just a bungee type cord, or shock cord. You can see it just stretches up and down. It's not doing anything structurally. I do intend on taking that out actually, and then putting a fixed Ridgeline in there that will be structural and give me more sag on it, allowing me to get a little more of this diagonal lay on here. Little sack here on the side. No real storage inside. Just this kind of unique little clip that they just kind of tossed in. However, you know, it just hangs over here, and then this thing opens up, and then you can drop something, put something in there and hang it. But by the same token, you can hang it on here. I mean, I guess this would be fine if you had something you were afraid were going to rupture or stick into the net here, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it has a lot of value, but it is kind of cool, and it was free. They tossed it in. Of course, free is always good. Zippers. No name zippers. The zip's incredibly smooth. Zip right up to about here. Incredibly smooth both ways. And it's got the zippers inside and out as usual. Now this thing here, I haven't done anything to it, so you're seeing it as it comes out of the box. All of us usually have little tags hanging on this to make it a little easier to grab. And we do other little things. None of us can seem to leave these things alone. And I certainly won't be leaving it alone. You can see there's the line out there, and there's a stake out there. I don't know if you can see it, but here's the stake what they give you. And of course, you know, if you're just using this thing as, you know, recreational hanging, these would be fine. But if you're going to be doing any kind of hanging where you're going to sleep in this thing and you go camping in it, you're probably going to have other stakes, and I'm going to use some of my other stakes for that. I do like having these things pulled out like that. And in reality, the head actually probably belongs up in this end here. I've got this set up with it down here because of where the sun is coming in on me. But the netting's nice. It does hang down on you. I'll get inside and show you what it's like inside. When I get the Ridgeline on it, this thing's going to be much higher, and that net won't hang on you anymore. So let me crawl in there, and then I'll bring you guys right back. Alright, here I am inside. As you can see, the netting does hang down quite a bit. Still okay. I wouldn't like it to be higher. When I put the Ridgeline in it, of course, this is going to have more sag, so it's going to lift up, and it should be up in this area here. And you can see now that we take up a lot of that slack. But if you're using this thing as a hanging out during the daytime, hanging at the beach or something, or around the lake or something, and you're not going to be sleeping in it, I imagine this probably wouldn't bother you too much, but I can imagine sleeping in it, it'd rub against me anyways and wake me up all night long. Fairly roomy inside. I mean, there's plenty of room up there on the other end of my feet up there, you can see to the top. And we probably get, well, half again as much above my head here. You can see there. This thing's incredibly lightweight, and I'm not used to hammocks that seem to be targeted for lightweights because I don't do a lot of hiking and stuff where I can carry. No, I'm worried about what I'm carrying. And the net just, you know, it feels kind of strange, a little different, a little lighter, but it still feels quality, and it seems to be put in here real well. I can see here on the side here they've captured it in the thing, which is something I've kind of fixed on. Is if you can get the net captured in it and it'll stay, that would be fine. That'd be great, as opposed to just slapping the two side by side and running a seam of thread through it. The other side here is a little different because you've got the zipper here, but it's put in there very nicely, evenly. No excess material coming out. It is folded here, so we're going through two layers of netting when they sew it in, and the same goes for down the bottom here. You can see they've hemmed it and then they've rolled it over and going through actually 3 layers here, so that should be pretty tight. No problem with that coming out. I had an expensive hammock where the thing was captured right up here by my shoulder, and I woke up in the morning and it was a 6-inch gap in there on my second night using that hammock, and that was the last of my expensive hammocks. Anyhow, this is where it is from inside now. I intend to do some modifications, and when I do, I will add that to this and show you what the difference is. You can see how we're in now, and this is what it'll be like when I have the Ridgeline in it. This thing here, by the way, I can understand why this is the shot cord. It's designed so you can just flip this thing over and sleep in it, or sit in it, or lay in it, or what have you. And I could see that if you turned it over and you had something rigid here, it wouldn't sag. But with this here, it will stretch it up and be fine. So that's why they've done that. A lot of you are going to say, well, why did they do that? Why did they just put a regular cord in there? But that's why. So you can flip this thing. That was what it was designed to do. for me, I won't use it for that. If I'm going to use a bare one without the net, one that flipped over, I'll just use another hammock. I got plenty of hammocks, and most of us do. Just a quick shot about a modification that I will be doing on this, as I've mentioned earlier. And this is how I start with it. This is the structural ridgeline that I've added to it, and it's just on the outside. Down on this end here, I've got it got a taut line hitching here, and then I can adjust it to get what I wanted. In this case, I adjusted it to the 83% standard that we have in these things. That seems to be the right number, and it is the right number. This is 95 inches now, just shy of 95 inches, and it gives me a real nice sag in here, which gives me the ability to get a real nice cross lay in here. So I just wanted to pop that in real quick. Like, I will show you after this. I will show you the actual thing, the actual finished product when I have the Ridgeline in it, and I remove this bungee cord or shock cord, whatever you want to call it, from in here. All right, I've got the Ridgeline put in. And what I've done here is you take the cord, just kind of loop it over, and just tie it in a knot there. And it always holds real well. Nothing special, no special fancy knots. Right here, about 2 inches down, I actually take a soldering iron and I just burned a hole in there. That way it seals this up. I'm going to try doing it this way rather than the way I've been doing it in the past, where I've been sandwiching stuff on here and putting a grommet in it. I just want to see how this will work. Of course, I run my line through here, and in this case here, I added a couple of mitten hooks, and then this little bag I've always done. It's like a stuffed sack, and I've always done this, and it works real good. I can hang a bottle of water or something in there, and anything else I want in here. There's the other mitten hook, and on the other end we've done the same thing. Little hole here with a soldering iron, and again just tied with a knot. And it's just, where this is Lark's headed on here, I open it up, slip it through, and then re-Lark's head it, and I'm done. Works very, very well. The comfort in this thing is incredible now. This is really a comfortable hammock. As comfortable as the expensive one I had referred to the other day, which is my Hennessy. This thing is, I'm going to be taking this out, and I will be trying this next time I go hammock camping. Just thought I would, as promised, show you what it looked like when we were done. Well, as you can see, there's a lot more space in here now that I've got that modification done to it, adding a Ridgeline. Stays pretty wide here. The net is way off me, almost a full reach to get to that. It's a lot better. So this is definitely a recommendation that I would do for this if you wanted to buy this thing. Putting this Ridgeline in it makes a world of difference. This comes from an average, everyday, maybe above average hammock to a very nice hammock. Okay, you've seen this thing in action. Kind of interesting hammock. I kind of like it. I did have a chance to have a nice sleep in it, and I was quite comfortable. Of course, that was after the modifications were done to enhance the ability of this hammock. I guess it's time now to tell you basically my thoughts about the hammock prior to the modifications and then after the modifications. Do keep in mind that I always try to keep in my mind what this thing was sold at, what the price of this thing is. This is a $35 hammock, okay? It's what they retail for. And it's not a $200 hammock or even a $100 hammock. So I can't say that this thing compares to one of those vendors who sell custom hammocks and what have you. No, it's not going to compare to that at all. But what I can say is that the hammock is worth the $35 that they're asking for it. One of the things I do like about this thing is it's not your standard coffin type hammock that is like a rectangular box that with a lot of rigging to hold the net up and what have you. This is like the hammocks we're seeing the vendors do, the specialty vendors and what have you, the cottage vendors as they're called, with their hammocks, or even the expensive major companies with their hammocks. It is a regular gathered in hammock, and it has the Bugnet attached to it, but it's got a single ridge line down the center of the thing, so the bug is like the Bugnet is like a tent, or like a pup tent over the hammock. That's kind of different from what we've been seeing from all these other companies. And quite frankly, I would say that the other companies with their coffin-style boxes and all that stuff hanging up there to keep the thing up in the air would be more expensive. This would be rather inexpensive to make, but this is likable. The difference between those and this, though, is those coffin-type ones make you feel snug, like you're inside something. You really do feel like you're inside something, and maybe during the cold weather, that is, advantageous. Some people will like that. I know that I do feel more snug inside one of those than I do in this. This is feels just like a plain old open hammock. You get this Bugnet above you. Anyhow, they're aiming this thing, it seems like it, by looking at their advertising on the thing, they're aiming this thing at somebody who wants to buy an economy hammock. Maybe somebody's going to use it in the backyard occasionally on the patio, or they're going to take it to the beach or to a park or what have you. Or maybe a student who's in college and he's got in between classes. I do know that we're seeing a lot of that kind of stuff happening. With the Bugnet on it, you can have it up if you're having a situation with mosquitoes or any kind of bugs bothering you, or you flip it over and then you'll have your Bugnet on the bottom side. Now the Ridgeline is a bungee type thing, or a shock cord, and it stretches. If you have it come straight underneath it, you're going to feel it. I took mine, and when I did it, I pulled it over to the side, and I didn't really feel it, but it did take this side and pull the thing in on me, or if I had put it over here in the same way. So it's a little uncomfortable with that cord there getting in the way. You can either feel it, or it's going to pull the thing in tight on you. Which didn't really matter to me because that Bugnet Ridgeline was going by the wayside. Now, after I took this thing and modified it, as you saw in the video, this thing became an incredibly comfortable hammock. Lots of room inside. Although I would like to see this maybe 6 inches longer or so. I'd like to get this thing out to about 10 feet. It's 55 inches wide. I'd like it maybe a foot wider. A lot of my regular hammocks that don't have the Bugnets on, my conventional hammocks, are that length, and I like that. I have some 11-footers, and I like those. You don't really notice that much of a difference. I mean, the width you might notice a little bit, but you can get a nice canted lay in this thing, and be very, very comfortable, very flat, very smooth. When you set this thing up, it's just a 2-hook, 1 hook here, 1 hook there, it's all done. There's none of that Ridgeline stuff or the Bugnet stuff or any of that garbage has to go on it, which makes this like a 3-minute setup, which is really nice. Somebody new in the industry to hammocks and stuff will love that. I know in the past I've tried to get people involved in them and with Bugnets and stuff, and they just hated all that rigging and what have you, and a lot of times they just said, this is just too much for me, I'm going to go sleep on the ground. Now this is the specs on this thing. I'm not going to go into the specs on this thing. As usual, these Chinese companies, they put the specs on Amazon, which is where this came from. They put the specs on there, and then you read down below, and it's totally different. I will leave a link below to this hammock. Please, if you're interested, go there and just read all that stuff, and then you have to kind of determine for yourself which spec you want to believe. It's crazy. Everything they put in there is different. Up on the top it says it's one size, down below it says it's a different size. I measured it. The top, on the top of the advertisement is the right length and everything. Up top though it does say it's a ripstop nylon. This is not ripstop. It's a 210T. It's very light, but it's a 210T, and that's it. It's not the ripstop version of it. It has a spec on the Bugnet. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Read it and see what you think. It makes it difficult for you to make a decision on buying it, but I will say this: it is a nice hammock. So all in all, once I've done everything that I wanted to do to this thing and done the modifications and stuff, basically it's no longer a hammock that can be flipped over. But you can take the Bugnet, unzip it, toss it up over your Ridgeline, and it gives you a feeling of openness. I mean, if you've got your campground, everything is here, it keeps it quite open and everything. So it does give you somewhat some of that freedom feel of being in a regular hammock. That said, I'm going to move on to what I'm going to do the next video on, and I do apologize because in the last video I said I was going to be doing this Bugnet here. It's a Unigear Bugnet. I did say I was going to do this, but this hammock was still available right now, and I wanted to get this video out so that people could take advantage of the sale price that they've got on this thing. I'm not sure how long that sale price will last, but this will be the next one I do the video on. This is available through Vitbon, vitbon.com, and I will leave a link below. It comes and goes, and the last time I saw that it was $17.50 at Vitbon. So keep that in mind. Try there first. Always try there first when you want to buy something. Go on there and in the search bar up top, put you know what you're looking for. In this case, a hammock, or if you're ever looking for tarps. Like they've got a couple of tarps around right now for about $20. Some pretty good sized tarps. So go there, try there first, and see if you can find it there. If not, it's still worth the $35. Well worth $35, especially if you do the little modification I did, which it takes only a few minutes to do. It took me about 5 minutes to do my mod, so that turns this thing into a really nice hammock. Now, before I go, I had on an older video of mine, it was a technical video on some electronic equipment. I had a young man, he goes by the name of Swiss Gamer. He asked me to put a shout out to him, and he's 12 years old, and he's trying to start his own channel. I'm going to put a link below for him. Have a look at his channel. He's got a couple of videos there. He's just starting out. I like to support people that are new to the YouTube family, especially the young ones, the young children that are trying to get started. This might go a long way for him, so give him a look. I'll leave a link for hidden below. Anyhow, thanks for stopping by. You guys get out there, enjoy the outdoors. The weather's great. Cold weather's around the corner. Let's use the outdoors while we can. Goodbye now.